Hello, welcome to Wisdom and Truth. Red or the blue pill. All right, so today we're gonna go in a route of. I just want to bring up some points from historical point of view of what the smart people are talking, and also I'm gonna read some parables from Matthew. Go through some of those. We're gonna talk about discernment, right? If the God of the world, or if God, right? If you're a Christian, Old Testament, Bible thumper, whatever, and it's evident in both the Old and New Testament that Satan is the king of this world or the God of this world. And if the Father knew that, right, as I think he did, as Jesus references in a bunch of places, watch out for the lying scribes. Don't listen to the Pharisees, for they don't do what even they're preaching to you. But ultimately, what is, like, a lot of people that that talk to me say, why would they lie, right? They meaning, the top religious people in the world, the politicians, scientists, whoever's on top, whoever you consider is relevant for information. Why would they lie, right? If you haven't figured it out, we live in a world that's ran by money. And the priority, in essence, the majority is all about profit, right? Profit, or what people gain from what they're doing. It's a very small percentage of people, might even be 1%, just like the 1% are the richest in the world. There's a 1% that really get it, the narrow road, right? And that 1% is just looking for truth, right? But why would on the other side of it, why would they even lie? What would be the purpose of them lying? What would be the purpose of me coming to you and saying that the New Testament isn't telling you the whole story? Because that's what I'm pretty much saying. If I'm saying everything, if I'm saying what the Bible, the truth or the lie, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying the root of every lie is the truth. Okay, and they can't hide the truth, so they have to make up their own truth, so to speak. Okay, I'm gonna read off of Bart Ehrman's blog, or one of his bloggy things. The oldest view of Christ found in only one Greek manuscript of Luke. Okay, so he wants to address early Christology from a slightly different angle in this post. So far, I have talked about how an exaltation Christology, in which Jesus, the man, is made the Son of God at some point of his existence, can be found in various parts of the New Testament. Romans 1, 3 through 4, speeches and Acts. Romans, again, a reference to Paul, and how different early Christians located that exaltation to different moments in Jesus' existence: resurrection, baptism, birth, pre-existence. As it turns out, this view of Christology relates to an important textual variant in the Gospel of Luke. So, by way of background, for anyone new to this kind of discussion, we don't have an original copy of Luke's Gospel or any other New Testament book, or actually any book at all from the ancient world. So you got to really comprehend that. That's like, I can't stress that enough. We don't have an original anything. Okay. What we do have are copies made from copies that were made from copies. We have thousands of copies of the New Testament from the centuries before the invention of printing. And these thousands of copies have hundreds of thousands of differences among themselves and how they word all of this, that, or the other passage. Most of these differences, the vast majority, are insignificant. True. It's immaterial and it matters for nothing more than to show that the ancient scribes could spell no better than people can today, and they didn't have spell check. But some of the differences actually matter. Changing the meaning of a passage is in a significant way. Okay, so what this is kind of saying is, if you don't know what a scribe is, a scribe that he copies the scripture, right? Somebody might want a book and he's going to write it for the book. All right. What they don't tell you is that ancient documents, right? So if the originals of these copies we have in its original form didn't have chapters, page numbers, titles to the paragraphs, that all came after the fact. Okay, it was like simplified, so to speak. So in essence, anyone that got one of these books had to read it from the beginning to the end, so to speak. They didn't have no markers where they could say, "Oh, let me go in the middle. Hey, this is where it said hit." No, they got to go through the whole thing. So that's one thing I just wanted to point out. And what would happen is when someone's writing it down, they would read something, and they're like, "Oh, that don't make sense," because they're going with what they believe, also, right? And then they could go off what they believe, what they've heard, but what they're reading doesn't make sense to what they believe or what they heard. Okay. Now, is it wrong to hold the Bible or the New Testament or any religious book for that matter and say, this is what I believe? Absolutely not. Believe what you believe. We believe in what you want to believe in. Okay. Can someone believe in the Bible, in the God of the Bible, and evolution? Absolutely. You can believe in what you want to believe in. But there's going to be a point that you contradict yourself in your beliefs. Okay. Can't believe both of them, because obviously in the Bible it's telling you a story of how man was created. Science is telling you evolution is the way man got here. So that's important. Okay. So it's contradicting. And for religious purposes, any book is whatever book you want it to be. It's your faith in that book, right? It's your faith in that. But what I'm saying is your faith is directed in the wrong place by just putting your faith in a book, right? I'm telling you from personal experience. I don't do these videos for no reason. I tell you from personal experience. If I didn't have this person, it's almost like Jesus coming back from the dead to his boys. And all of a sudden now his boys aren't in hiding no more. They're out spreading the word, spreading the good news. Okay. I had a similar type of experience. There was one point in my life I just said, you know what, Father, if you dare, holler at me, right? I let go of everything in the world. I made myself homeless and everything for 18 months, homeless as hell. And he came to me. And from when I recognized him, I recognized his voice. Now I'm on the next level. Bring me this information. I need to know from you. I don't need to know from a book. I need to know from you. Right. And Jesus in the book, in the 4 Gospels, he gives you how to do that. Right. You know people by their fruits. If you have a friend that's like a scumbag to everybody else, but not you, he's going to get there to you sooner or later. Right. Or more than that, if he never gets to you, still know what type of person he is. So, you know, when it gets down and dirty, well, I don't know, because friendship could be loyal sometimes. Like he could be an asshole to everybody else. But then when he comes to you, he does, they help you out. The point is you got to look for yourself. That's the point. You got to look for yourself. You got to dig deep by yourself. You really got to, like, you if you're going to believe in anything, like, bottom line is this. If you're going to claim to be a Christian and you're following your teacher, Jesus, then as some people that, become new Christians and they get that anxiousness, that adrenaline pump on just wanting to tell everyone the good news, right? Get in depth of the good news first. You don't even know what the good news is, right? Oh, well, Jesus died on died on the cross for our sins. That's okay. But did he really? That's the question. Did he really die for our sins if he got brought back to life? And knew it. Like it would be a different situation if he didn't tell his boys this is what's going to happen and I'm going to be back on the 3rd day. Right? So he already knew going into it what was going to be the end result. So it's not like we can't have a pity party on Jesus died on the cross for our sins as in pity. He died on, like, you got to look for the truth. And that doesn't make sense as truth, because that don't make, if God, listen, I'm not saying the Father doesn't have to send a message out to us to like wake up. Okay. But what would be our benefit on that wake up if he had to make something outside of us to tell us this? Right? That's why it says Jesus lived a perfect life in the book, because he had to be with like no blemish, like the Old Testament. Right? There's going to be a sheep led to the slaughter with no blemishes. Mind you, every slaughter that, or every sacrifice that they made had to be made by a non-blemished animal or anything, right? Jesus questions the Pharisees at the temple in Jerusalem when he saw that the people would bring a dove, and oh no, that dove has a little booger on it. Here, we're going to throw that to the side. Give us $50. We'll give you a nice little dove to go up there and sacrifice. That's what they were doing. Why are you making my house a den of thieves? And he wasn't just talking about the temple. He was talking about the whole damn world. Right? Who gave authority to anyone else to say this apple tree is mine, so to speak? Right? But that's the mentality that the world gave to us. Why? It's almost like when people first, like families used to buy houses for the families. Now it's buying a house to see if I can flip it. Families got to move out. We can't do that. Right? You're leaving people homeless when you have a house for the family. It's like crazy. Okay. So let me read some more of this. So one of the most important differences in the account of Jesus' baptism in the Gospel of Luke, here as in Mark, Jesus gets baptized and he comes out of the water. The Spirit descends upon him and a voice comes from heaven. In most of our surviving manuscripts of Luke, the voice says, "You are my son, in you I am well pleased." Luke 3:22. Exactly the same words that the voice says in Mark's Gospel, Luke's source for the story. Right? So it's because I don't know if you know this, but Matthew and Luke are known to use the book of Mark as a source for their books. So that's just a note. But in one ancient and important manuscript, the voice actually says something different in Luke. In this 5th century manuscript, the voice instead says, "You are my son. Today I have begotten you." And that's actually quoting from the Old Testament in Psalm 2:7. So now that brings up my point on why would they lie, right? That's why they would lie. So originally, or what they want you to know is, what they want you to believe is, you are my son, in you I am well pleased, which isn't, it doesn't throw it off. It doesn't throw it off. Right? Because as long as you know that you're a child too, it doesn't throw it off. But it's more trying to pinpoint that Jesus is the only one. And that's wrong, because Jesus didn't say that. Right? Why is the truth embedded in this? Like, why didn't they just write 4 new gospels? Right? Just saying whatever they wanted to say. Not that we don't have these out here, do we not? We have Jehovah's Witnesses with their own Bible, Mormons with their own Bible, a whole bunch of different sects of Christians have their own Bible. We have people in Islam, they have their own Bible. A lot of people don't know that. There's a few different Qurans. So, right? So what would stop them? Because the truth's not within what they're trying to say. That's what would stop them. Right? They have to go off this. With Paul too. Paul, that's why he contradicts a lot of beliefs of Jesus, or what Jesus was teaching within his own writings, and you don't even recognize it. Because so many pastors are just pointing you right to Paul. Well, Paul said in Galatians, and Paul said in Hebrews, and Paul said in Romans. Who the hell is Paul? Right? And if anything, the Father used Paul to kind of keep it going, so to speak. Right? Show there was like even there was no way for them to hide the truth. So all they just pack it in with that's why they always say context, context, context. Like, you can't read the red letters of the Bible and get the message. Right? There's no book you have to read anyway to get the message. If you don't get the message, it's by see, the world teaches us for a long time now, like centuries, has been embedded and programming people to believe in certain, probably, you know what, it ain't hard to program them, because everyone wants their own royalty name, so to speak. Everybody wants to be a king or queen of their world. Okay. You know what? And that's cool. But queens and kings have slaves and peasants and citizens. And then those citizens have to show them authority. So you got to bow down to that king, right? But then if you claim to be a Christian and you stem your beliefs from the Old Testament on Christianity, then the people in the book of Daniel should have just threw you. That should have not even been a go-to, right? They were like, I ain't bowing down to this statue. Simple as that. Throw me in the furnace then. Throw me in the furnace. My father's going to deliver me either way. He's going to either die in there or I come out and show his glory. Either way, I'm good. Throw me in there. That's a true Christian. I don't know if you knew that. That's a true Christian. Okay, when they made it in the Catholic Church and they made the St. Peter statue, you know, that over there in Europe, his toe is missing because people keep kissing it all the damn time. How is that following Jesus? 10 Commandments trump that one. No graven images. Why are you kissing this statue's toe? Right? And if Peter came back today, would he even accept that statue? He'd probably blow it up or something. Like he ain't trying to take claim to that. Okay? Just like Jesus wasn't trying to take claim to being a God. Unless it was meaning that we're all gods, as he was approached by the Pharisees and they were going to stone him at this one point. And he said, why are you stoning me? He said, it ain't because of the miracles you did. It ain't because of whoever you helped, fed, healed. It's all because you said you and God are one. The Father and I are one. And he responded, doesn't it say in your Psalms that ye are gods? Right? You got to be a part of the Creator. It's simple. Right? He's outside of us. Absolutely. He's outside of time, space, our existence. That's why they call him the invisible God. Right? Because there's only one place to get to him, and that's within. And that's why they lie to you. That's why they misdirect you. That's why they mislead you. That's why they do the sleight of hand trick like a magician. Okay? They don't want you to know that. Why? Because if you knew that, their power would be gone. And it's not a physical power, right? We're just too ignorant as people in the world to realize that we're more powerful than our governments, period. It's more of us than it is of them, no matter how you look at it. But then you get this like, oh, but they got the army. The army is part of your family. You think when they turn those soldiers to come at you, yeah, and you know what happens in like racist protest situations and stuff like that, but that's driven. Because they got assholes, too, that are on their payroll in the protests doing negative shit. That's why. Right? It's almost like you ever hear of crisis actors? I've seen a few. I wish it was a lie. But I listen, there was a point that I was watching a lot of news stories, especially the school shootings one. You'll see a lot of familiar freaking faces in the crowd out there. It's sad. It's sad. But it's true. That's why I say there's people that know the truth. There's people that know the truth. The majority of us are ignorant to the truth. We don't understand it at all. We're just going like sheep, just following people's ways. Oh, that's the job. Well, that's the way it goes. That if I had to work this hard to get here, you're gonna have to work this hard to get here too. Right? The reason why things are expensive is because of people, not because anything in price is going up. People want to be paid more. Bottom line, and they're not thinking about other people. Right? They're not thinking the consequence of them being paid. Right? Like teachers, that's why they don't pay for shit in schools no more, and outside activities and stuff like that, or sports and stuff. And you got to buy all the gear as the parent. Why? Because the teachers get all the money. That's why they're short on books or whatever resources they need to come into the school, because these teachers want to be paid more. That's why there's teacher unions. Come on, it's a hustle. If your passion is to just teach and educate, then the money should not be an issue at all. You're doing something because you got the love to do it. But see, society got you all screwed up. But I deserve this. I deserve that. I deserve this. I deserve that. It's almost like saying, like Satan said, I am God and no one else is before me. Right? You are you and no one else is before you. I am me and no one else is before me. That doesn't make sense. Because without everyone else in the world, if like I always say, if you're not living in the bush somewhere, making your own shoes, making your own clothes, hunting your own food, like totally living off of anyone else helping you, then you're full of shit. You need somebody. You're not above anyone else, right? Because without those little people, you wouldn't even have anything else. Who's going to work the farm? Who's going to work at 7-Eleven? Who's going to work at the convenience store? Who's going to work at the supermarket to ring you up? Come on, man. We got to have respect for one another no matter what job we're doing, no matter who you are. If you're the CEO of a company, the little people are the ones that made you the CEO. They're the ones making you the money. Right? But the world wants you to think there's levels and, you got to get to this education level and then you can move up to this, and this. This is why they lie. They don't want you to know the truth, because if you knew the truth, their world will be crushed. Boom. And confetti. We could blow it out of horns like a parade, because that's what would happen. So look, that's something, right? And that's even in the fifth century manuscript of Luke. But I think he says it. This is obviously a very important difference. If the voice says, "Today I have begotten you," then that would indicate that it was at the baptism that Jesus came to be adopted as the Son of God. This would support an exaltation of Christology that locates the moment of Jesus' exaltation at the baptism. But see, they want you to think that it was at his birth. They want you to think it was when he did his first miracle making wine. They want you to think it was when he was dead on the cross and then he resurrected. Right? Why are these differences? Because they want to keep us freaking confused. That's as simple as that. Right? And the Father of all things, the Father of love, the Father of life, his plan is right in front of you. You know why you don't see it? You know why we're blinded? It's because we're not looking in that direction. We're looking at something totally different. We're going with what books are saying. We're going with the people are saying about the books. We're not asking the questions ourselves to the source of what the question should be. The question should be asked to in the first place. Seek me first, and everything else will be added to you. I believe that. That's truth. That's a true statement to me. If I seek what life is supposed to be about, and it comes to me, it's only going to come to me when I got all the distractions out of my face. It's only going to come to me when I say, you know what, this world is not for me. This is not my home. I gotta make it the home or something, because it ain't that. But that's like the true issue at times. Like, right? This is evident that they don't know what they're talking about in essence. This is evident that there's been an argument about who Jesus was, if he existed, which stand did he stand on, who was his disciples. These have been arguments since he died. Since we'll give it like some years on it. No, since he died. I can't even give no years on it. Since he died. More of the proof comes after the first century, like 170, 180, when you got all these church fathers that enter the scene, and they're arguing about a Jehovah's Witness type Jesus, a Mormon type Jesus, a Christian, a Catholic type Jesus, right? But listen, just like in those stories in the New Testament, you're not picking up on the thing. You're not, like, that's why that's why preachers always say context, context, context. I'm not saying they're wrong. What I'm saying is this: when you look at the context, you kind of forget the message. Right? Look at saying context, context, context is why people think the Bible, the book, is the infallible word of God, because of context. But is it? Because obviously I just read that there's thousands upon thousands of errors from just insignificant ones, misspellings, a word put in the wrong place, line copied twice. But then the most extreme ones there are passages that people put a whole sermon on. Like Jesus wept, the one verse, one little couple word verse, Jesus wept, they do a whole sermon on it. Where's the context in that? Because most of the time when they're saying Jesus wept, they're saying that he had empathy for the people that were around him. But does that make freaking sense? It's almost like him dying on the cross for our sins, but yet he came back. And not even that whole situation transpired. He told people before it happened, yeah, I'm going to go hang on the cross, die, and come back. So did he really, truly go to die? Like, does it sound like the Jesus that was in the garden? Oh, Father, if you could take this burden away from me. Does that sound like that? Because he already knows he's coming out, right? Imagine that you knew that you would never die, so to speak, right? What kind of things would you do in the world the next, like, to now, or when you wake up in the morning? What kind of, are you jumping out of planes? Are you gonna like see if you can do some Matrix stuff, jump from building to building, like anything, right? You know you're not gonna die. So it's almost like No crime, no jobs for cops. What's the incentive to really stop crime? And you already know, especially in America, in our society, when auto manufacturer is shutting down, that's a problem. 3,000 people are going to be losing their jobs. If there's no more crime, how many thousands upon 100,000 people losing jobs if there's no crime? Right? So the world makes you believe that crime is a balance. It's a balance thing. That's how you know good and evil is wrong. Both. The Father is not good nor evil. That's why I like the Nag Hammadi text, because that's exactly what it describes him as. Incorruptible, can't be corrupted, can't be good. It's true, because that means he's choosing a side. The Father chooses no sides. He's the prodigal father, or he's the father sending out his prodigal son. Son, hey, Dad, this boat, and he goes, right? Takes his inheritance. Let me get my inheritance now, Dad. I'm out. Done with this lifestyle. And he goes and he experiences the world like a Solomon and finds out everything is full of shit, and he ends up in a pig pen eating pig slop for lunch. And then he has this thought like, damn, thought about home. He said, at home, my dad's employees are living the life. They're sitting at the table with him, eating the steak, the filet mignon, the nice vegetables, the pasta, and I'm in this pig pen. I'm going home, man. At least minimum, I could beg my dad to take me back as an employee, right? And the father's like, no, who's that coming? Oh, and he hauls ass. Yeah, Sonny boy is back. Let's go. Come on in, man. I've been waiting for you. You got it now? Yeah, I got it, Dad. Let's go then. Shit. Did you sow your oats? That's the Father. That's the Father to me. That's who I'm pursuing. And as long as you're watching me or we're communicating, you'll see how it goes. Because I'm not stopping until it's there. Right? I did enough stopping throughout the beginning of my life. Listening to other people. Go this way. Go that way. Don't listen to that. Don't wear that. You don't wear that there. All people's perceptions of what? Right? When I've been in many situations, I know many people with different lifestyles. And I've been in places and had the time of my life where there was no money at all, so to speak. Right? People just living life and loving life and enjoying it. And then what is anybody's end game anyway? Isn't that where we all want to go? Shoot. All right. Well, all right. I have devoted a long discussion to the textual variant in my book. Yeah, he's always talking about his books, but he got some good books. Bart Ehrman, good books. Argue on numerous grounds that even though this alternative version of the voice is found in only one Greek manuscript, it is probably the reading originally found in Luke's account. I'll mention just a couple of reasons for thinking so. First, even though his reading is found in only one surviving manuscript in the 5th century, our oldest manuscript of the passages are two Greek copies that come from the middle of the 4th century. The passages quoted by church fathers of the 2nd through 4th centuries. These church fathers lived everywhere from Rome to Alexandria, Egypt, to North Africa, to Palestine, to Gaul, and to Spain. And in every single instant, the church father quotes the verse in this alternative version, today I have begotten you. And like I said before, and it comes right from Psalm 2:7. That's pretty important. Why? Because this is the form of the text they were familiar with. So that means even at their time, these are church fathers from, what do you say, from the 1st to the 4th, or from the 2nd to the 4th centuries into the 5th centuries, that were still quoting the original of Luke. That just means somewhere along the line, somebody read it of, maybe a church father. It might have been too, actually, because I think he mentioned them down there. But they say, oh, that don't make sense, right? Just like when I did the Jesus thing and I said Jesus Barabbas, right? Barabbas is his last name title, so to speak, the son of the father, the son of the teacher. So Jesus is his name as Jesus of Nazareth, right? Jesus is his name, but a church father saw it and said, no, that man can't be named Jesus. Truth is truth, right? That's why I like Bart Ehrman. I like Bart Ehrman because no matter what, truth is true. I may not agree, because he doesn't believe in God and stuff no more. So, but he says that because of suffering. That's why he does his little blog. Listen, if you're into any type of Christianity, I would definitely join the blog. It's only like $25 a year or something like that. Like, it's not even that much money. And like, there's different levels of it where you could donate more money or whatever the case is. But for as cheap as $25, you get a whole year of this dude of all his research, right? You don't even have to go to college. This dude already did it for you, and he's writing it down, right? And he has discussions and lectures and stuff that come out on this between him and others that don't agree with him. Because he's probably the one guy that a lot of historians don't like, or not that they don't like, because a lot of people have a lot of respect for him. They can't take away his scholarship, so to speak. They can't take away his intellect, and he usually destroys the shit out of people in a debate just with their own information because they can't answer the questions, right? Yes, you can listen. You can believe in the Bible as a base of your foundation of faith. Okay. And if that's the faith you want to run with, go with it. But that's not the faith that Jesus is talking about. That's not the faith that the messenger came, the messenger of love and life. That's not his message. That's the problem, right? We're going off what other people say. Just like, right, when there was nuclear, back in, I guess, the 70s or 60s, when there was possible nuclear shit, or maybe even further than that, 50s or something, when they were testing weapons and stuff. And the thing the world told you to do is hide under a table. When an atom bomb is coming down, hide under a table. What's the point of hiding under a damn table? But this is how we're led blindly, right? These people, just look, current news, right? The COVID vaccine. Okay, there's so many people promoting it, right? Not as much now because there's a lot of information coming about it now. Like now on the news, it ain't even FDA approved. So what are you if you took it? You're just a guinea pig for whatever they're deciding. Plus, you forget about a flu shot. It ain't like you take this vaccine one time and that's it. No, there's going to be, even though it hasn't popped up yet, the new COVID, we're still at 19. It hasn't popped up a new COVID yet, but the flu changes every year. So that means with the same thing in COVID, you will have to get a vaccine every year. Right. And they're going to require it to go to school. There's going to be a lot of jobs requiring you to have it because there's a lot of crazy shit going on with it now. Watch the news, look into the vaccine, even on YouTube. It's all over. People are getting really sick from it, blood clots. People are catching COVID again. So it's only a test run. Right. That's why I would never take it regardless of anything, because I don't believe in what they say. I'd rather walk, just walk. It's what it is. If it's my time, it's my time. That's the point. If it's my time, it's my time. I'm not fighting to stay here any longer than I have to, in essence. Right? No matter what the situation. Because in my life's purpose now is just seek truth all day, every day, and bring as many people and wake them up as I can. I even have a song written about it. That's how much that's the only thing on my mind. Okay. Lord, all I need is one wish to be given, one prayer to be answered. Only having one care, to awaken your chosen souls. That's it. To open their real eyes, to realize these evil foes in this battle with spirits lost in suffering's reign. The devil staying in our hearts. And your will be done from the start, leaving him feeling tart and sour for all he's devoured with lies and contradiction, a sentence for insisting to destroy. Your peace ploy in a promise given to man throughout all lands, from the beginning created, stated with your words, walking in the flesh. Weak minds debated, failing the test, all due to disbelief. From mighty winds to tragic defeats, corruption on our streets. From the bottom of society to the highest priest, the highest priest, the highest priest. Just think about that. Let's see. And there was one more thing. So that's just something just there. I was looking, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't know what made me think about it, but I read it a while ago, and I actually think I have a copy of it. I gotta find it, but I want to do a video on the Devil's Bible. There is, and if you didn't know, there's a Bible called the Devil's Bible. The story behind it was this. the hell was he? I think he was a monk or something. They cemented him in a room, and he wrote this book. In the story, I guess the myth story is that he wrote it in one night, but it's like a 3-foot book, 3 feet book, 3 feet, and I think it's pretty long. It has the whole 66 book Bible in it. It's all written in Latin. There's some Hebrew words in the front of it. There's a big picture in the middle of it of the devil himself, so to speak. And also, so within it is the wisdom of Jesus Christ from the Nag Hammadi text. Like I said, all the 66 books of the Bible. Matter of fact, let me see something. I'm gonna tell you everything that's in this book, because this it's called the Codex Gigas, and it's a big book. It's a length of 92 centimeters, 36 inches. It was created in the 13th century in the Benedictine monastery of Podlazis in Bohemia, which is a region in the modern day Czech Republic. It contains the complete Vulgate Bible, which is what you would probably know today, as well as other popular works, all written in Latin. Between the Old Testament and New Testaments are a selection of other popular medieval references, works like Josephus's Iniquities of the Jews, De Bello Induaco, Isidore of Seville's, the Chronicle of the Cosmos of Prague, the Constantine, the African, and is also got the Gospel of the couple Nag Hammadi texts in it. The start of the book of Genesis in that book is missing. There's a squirrel picture on it. There's a portrait of Josephus in it. But I'm gonna do a video on this. I'm gonna get deep into it and tell you what this dude wrote, because I'm always curious in that. I'm like curious about Freemason Bibles and stuff like that. I'm curious. I'm always curious. Gotta know. Oh yeah, right there. So from the regular Bible, except the books of Acts and Revelations. So it doesn't have Acts and Revelations, and it's missing the first part of the Genesis. But it was written. This book was written though, so it was a completed book. It just was missing Genesis because maybe that scribe felt it was irrelevant to his belief. And then he has from Genesis to Ruth, Isaiah to Daniel, Hosea to Malachi, Job by itself, Samuel to King, Psalm, Song of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon, which is found in the Nag Hammadi text, Wisdom of Jesus, Esdras, Tobit, Judith, Esther, and the Maccabees. What's up, Glitchy? And he does have the 2 works by Josephus also. But I'm definitely gonna do a video on the Devil's Bible, because that one is real curious to bring to light. And then another thing from the Ehrman thing. So a guy is asking him questions. So this is the question. Sometimes you make a distinction between literary evidence and other sorts of written evidence, e.g., for example, records of trials or tax records, and you place a special stress on the former as a way of answering the question of whether or not Jesus existed. Can you explain? He says, yes. This is a clear distinction to be made between literary and documentary evidence. The only reason I place special evidence on the former when talking about the historical Jesus is that there is no documentary evidence for his existence. For lots and lots of historical issues, documentary evidence is invaluable, but only when it exists for the issue under consideration. If any did exist for Jesus, that would of course be highly significant, would it not? We do not have any birth records or land deeds, no report of his trial other than in literary sources, and no death warrant related to Jesus, no documents or inscriptions of any kind. All we have are later literary references. And so these are the sources that we have to focus on. Of what value is the testimony of hostile witnesses to the existence of Jesus? For example, the evidence from 3rd to 4th century Jewish sources, or the evidence of Celsus, and Celsus is a Roman historian, views of things as cited by Origen, which is a early church father from the 2nd century. Must we necessarily rule out later evidence from after the 1st or 2nd century if it comes from sources unlikely to have read any New Testament documents? Right. So you see how he's putting that there. So he's saying even in the literary view, there's people that wrote things that they didn't have access to the New Testament documents. It's almost like anything from the 1st and 2nd century, they didn't have, like, Jesus wasn't preaching out of a book. There wasn't a Matthew, Luke, Mark, or John running around when Jesus was here, nor 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years later, right? John didn't write John until 90s to 90. Okay, 90 B.A.D. Most of the early Christian sources, if you didn't know, are from Paul. Paul is stamped, signed, and delivered. Even though even in historical land, there's still some questions about certain books, though. So I think he has 13 of the New Testament books accounted to him. And in that, they're still having issues with a couple of them. So like, I think in the scholarly world, there's only really 9 that they could definitely authenticate as being Paul's. But that's where we first get Christianity from also, right? Peter wasn't writing things, and things wasn't happening like that. Not the way they tell us it was. So then what did he say? Then he asked that question of the 4th and 3rd century. So the answer is, I don't think this evidence is very valuable. By the 3rd and 4th century, there were indeed debates over Jesus's significance. So that's in the 3rd, 4th. Or even earlier, as in writings of Celsus from the 170s, but these hostile pagan and in some cases Jewish, though the actual Jewish documents are later than the 4th century. Even if their traditions can be traced to earlier times, but no one at that point, 2 or 3 centuries after Jesus' death, had any independent access to his existence and life. Pagan authors such as Celsus and Porphyro, as well as their Christian opponents such as Justin, Origen, Tertullian, the apologist. Tertullian is very important. Look into him. Were basing their knowledge of Jesus on the Gospels and on oral reports about Jesus that were, for the most part, themselves derived from the Gospels. So what did he say right there? He said most of the information people are getting, especially in the Justin, Origen, and Tertullian, those are Christian church fathers. So within them, they're only talking about what's in those 4 Gospels, and they're only telling you oral reports about stories of those 4 Gospels. So the answer is that we do not necessarily have to rule out later evidence, right? Just like in that book, the book of Luke, and it says, "Today you are my son," to Jesus when he got baptized. We have to take a look at it as evidence to see whether it is valuable, important, or even independent. When we examine it closely, alas, it is not independent and therefore not valuable. If Celsus, for example, or Tertullian on the other side, because Celsus was like the pagan dude and Tertullian was like the pagan and Christian debate, could be shown to have had access to earlier records that no longer survive for us, but which one time did exist and that provided independent testimony to Jesus that would indeed be important. But I'm sorry to say they appear not to have any such records. And then he's talking about Josephus and how Josephus mentions Jesus, the brother of James, the brother of Jesus. But that's even argued. There's certain sources that say Josephus converted to be a Christian, which is a lie because he says in his own works that they found later. So these are the debates that are going on in the scholarly world, right? So where is the truth? right? And as in these scholars, all these dudes have books. Bart Ehrman has books. His other boys have books. I don't even see none of the names of the other guys here. Like Ben Witherton, Steve Sutter. These are all historians. He does mention two of his people in archaeology. That was in reference to. Wait. Have you considered the recent evidence from the trial of Oded Golan, now over with the defend exonerated, in regard to the James ossuary, in which under oath the head of the IAA was forced to admit that the last third of the inscription, the brother of Jesus part, had genuine ancient patina in it, and then later the IAA lead epigrapher Adden Yarden testified she was convinced the whole inscription, James, son of Joseph, brother of Jesus, was a genuine first century inscription. How would this sort of evidence, if genuine, change the discussion of historical Jesus? I do not think the Assyria provides us with a reliable reference to Jesus. On one hand, I am persuaded by the overwhelming consensus among Palestinian archaeologists that the inscription is probably a forgery. I'm not an expert on this, as I am not a professional archaeologist. My view is that the professionals are the ones qualified to speak about it, and the experts are pretty unified, or so my colleagues Eric Myers and Jody Magnus, two of the top experts in the field, tell me. On the other hand, even if it's not forged, it does not seem obvious to me or to most other historians in early Christianity that I know that the inscription has anything to do with Jesus of Nazareth, for all sorts of reasons that experts like Magnus have spelled out at length. So like you can even get into that, that's why it's good to look into these people, because they already do the work for you, so to speak. Like, but you still got to read them because they're still writing books, making money, right? They're still writing a book, selling it at $49.95 or $29.95, Amazon, whatever the case is. So that's why you got to read through it, and you read through it and you discern it. You discern it by love and hate, by intent, right? What's their intent? Are they trying to bring us to the truth, or are they just trying to sell a book? Right? If you look in like Joel Osteen, he wrote a few books. I read the first two. The third book sounded just the same as the first two. I'm surprised I didn't notice it in the second one, but I did, but I read it and it was good words, right? He may be going on a different level, talking that prosperity stuff, but you don't have to. It ain't about praying hard enough to be good with God, so to speak. Okay, especially when you're praying for money and stuff that God has nothing to do with those things. And that's what you got to really comprehend. The world is opposite from the Father, no matter how you look at it. And then, so for the last, I'm going to do, I'm going to end the video with this, because I just wanted to bring that effort, like just to bring some historical, like what they're saying in essence of in their world, right? There's some archaeologists say the thing is legit, that Josephus really wrote it. There's other archaeologists, no, I don't think he wrote it. So that's everywhere, right? And the point I always try to make is, does it really matter? Like some Christians say, if it wasn't for the resurrection, they can't believe in what they believe. Why does that matter? Right? Did we need that to happen to Martin Luther King to believe in his dream? I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. All right, so we're going to do the sower. Matthew 13, 1 through 23. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still, other seed fell on good soil where it produced a crop, 160 or 30 times what was sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. The disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to the people in parables? He replied, because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have in abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they will have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. right? So he's saying, just in that line alone, what he's saying is, I talk in parables because I can't just tell them outright. Not that he's hiding anything and he can't really tell the truth. That's not the point. The point is this: if he told them what they have to do, just like anyone that believes in the Old Testament, anyone that believes in the New Testament, you go to church and they tell you what to do, that's where the problem happens. Right? It's almost like I can't bring you the truth. You can't bring anyone else the truth. There's no one that can truly bring anyone else the truth. You have to bring yourself there. Just like you believe what you believe. No, even you might have had some influence that helped you to believe what you believe, but you still believe what you believe. That's why there's people that call themselves Christians that believe different aspects of Christianity. There's people that say they're Muslims, believe in different aspects of Islam. There's people that say they're Buddhists, Hindus, atheists, whatever. Right? It's like the atheists one funny because when they like do something, they're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Like, I thought you didn't believe. Like, why are you saying his name? I'm just saying. Like, you know, that's like the big Jesus Christ is the biggest saying of all people, in essence. People that don't even believe him. Jesus, why did this happen? And Jesus is also saying that because the truth is within you, the kingdom is within you, right? So when you hear these things, you're gonna go with that discernment of the love, right? It's gonna confirm something within you. That's what the parables are for, to confirm something inside of you when you're looking in the right direction now, right? It's always inside of you. You're just not looking there. When you're looking there, you start seeing it. It's as simple as that. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will never be hearing. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. Right? So when people are watching racism on TV, when things are going crazy, right? Are they not seeing, but not yet perceiving that maybe this whole situation is wrong? Maybe we're looking at it all the wrong way. Why does there have to be a dominant race or a piece of shit race or anything that's different from us? We're all 99.9% through science says we're the same. We're exactly the same. Just like bloodlines. Does bloodlines make sense? If you believe in the Bible and if we started out from one man and one woman, then how could a bloodline make sense? It don't. The bloodline is all to the same source. For this people's heart has become callous. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly, I tell you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their hearts. That's why you got to stand strong on what you believe. Do your research on what you believe, right? I'm saying all religions are false, but yet they all have a common denomination, right? Everything in essence is false. There's only two ways of everything: truth and lies. That's it. Truth or lies. Be honest with yourself. Set your mind free. Right? Truth or lies. And the truth and lies lies within you. So either you're going to live with the lie or you're going to stick with the truth. You're either going to stand up for the truth or you're going to bury the lie. One or the other. You only can serve one master. You're either going to serve the master of the lies or the master of the truth. And the master of truth is all about love and life and loving the life we all share. Right, when anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in their hearts. This is the seed sown along the path. The seed falling on rocky ground refers to someone who hears the word, and at once receives it with joy. That's the Christianese thing I'm talking about. And they want to go and tell the world. But since they do not have root, because they don't know what the damn book says, they don't know what's the behind the scenes of what they're so anxious and excited about when they went and said, I make Jesus my Lord and Savior come into my life. And he just went out starting to tell people, don't do that. Gay is wrong. This is wrong. That's wrong. Hey. Not getting to the root, not having no root to stand on. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. So like when your rent is due, you don't have no food to feed your babies, you're running to go be a prostitute or sell some drugs or do some kind of scheme or something like that, or even go out and legitimately get a job that's under going to be a stripper, so to speak. Instead of going to be the prostitute, you're going to be the stripper. But if you're not into stripping, so to speak, it ain't nothing wrong with a stripper. If you're not into that, if that's not you, then you're doing something you don't want to do. You're prostituting yourself for what? That's why the whole Bible, Old Testament and New, just prostitution's everywhere. Everyone's a whore. And that, and in essence, that's what we're doing. The Satan of the world is the pimp. And he's pimping us all out to ourselves. That's how crazy he got us buying ourselves. I'm just saying, truth is truth. Red or the blue pill. Truth is truth. They quickly fall away. The seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, make it unfruitful. Why? I know God said don't kill, but I'm going to go shoot somebody anyway. I know Jesus said lust for a woman in my head. I know whatever. There's a whole bunch of 10 commandments. Go each one, right? I know, but I know I'm not supposed to get false witness, but what am I? The big guys are telling me to do it. I'm just saying. They're threatening my job. They're threatening my life. It's almost like someone trying to put you in slavery, right? That's why I say slavery really never existed. Not the way we think it is. And if it did, it was because, like I said all the time about ancient nations and stuff, they used to bulldoze their way over everything. So it was no peace trees and shit like that. So they would kill all the men and keep all the kids and maybe even a few of the women and have some more babies. But see, they got the kids. So now they're bringing up those kids in the ways of what they want them to see it to be, right? The Israelites locked down in Egypt for either 215 years, like some books say, or 480 years, like they do the math as. There's generations upon generations of people groups here. These are centuries going by, and you don't think they brainwashed the shit? Yes, they did. Why? Because in the Exodus, as soon as Moses leaves for 40 days, they're back to making golden calves and wanting the things of Egypt. But the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. Right? If you're Christian and you're not understanding this parable, that's why I only read that. This is the only one I'm reading. When I do the next video, I'll go deeper into parables. But if you don't comprehend this one, if you can't even how he breaks it down at the end, right? He tells you where does the seed fell on the rock. This is why. The seed fell over here. This is why. The seed fell in the thorns. This is why. Right? And if you have those ears to hear and those eyes to see, then it's time to produce that love. It's time to let that love shine from within you and be on the outside of you. Right? Because don't forget, it is an invisible God to those that don't want to see him. That's why if there's anyone responsible for putting Jesus on a cross, we all are. Even today, we're still putting Jesus on a cross. We're saying we don't hear what you're saying. Right? There's a racist guy out there like, I don't hear what you're saying. Even though he goes to church, I don't hear what you're saying. Jesus, these people are beneath me. Right? There's a person going to church right now that hates homosexuality. And he's sitting there saying, Jesus, I can't agree with you on that. Let me hang you on the cross, and I'm going to go my own route on my belief system on this. When if you search the New Testament, you don't even see Jesus talking about homosexuality. It's irrelevant. You think the war is between flesh and bone, But let me tell you, it's powers and principalities. If you don't understand what those powers and principalities are, it's our mind states. It's our way of thinking. It's us hearing the word with no root. We have no root on it, and the devil just comes and takes us out. Simple as that. Easily, too. Hey, here's some Coke. Here's some drink. Here's some gambling money. Here's some heroin. Here's some prescription pills. Here, hey, go get a new butt. Go get some liposuction. Go get some new breast. Go get a penis pump. Go. When you should just be like, hell no, I ain't going. For it is written, man doesn't live on bread alone. For it is written, don't test your God by burning yourself with fire when you know it's hot. Right? For it is written. The Father is the only one. It's written. There's only one way. You can go the other way. The other way is just going to lead you in distress. It's going to stray you. It's going to leave you in distress. Right? No matter how you look at it, and you got a chance. Right? I don't know. I'm not a strong believer in reincarnation. I was kind of leaning towards maybe recyclement, where we don't get it in this life, so we come back. Like, that's why I think we have babies. That's why Jesus said, when I was reading the resurrection stories, when Jesus said, blessed is the world when the women stop having babies. And that's not the only place he said it. He also said it in Thomas 114 sayings. He said it in Nagamati, Texas. So that's how you find truth, right? If you don't read all these books, how would you ever know? If you don't read the book they're telling you not to read, then how would you know why they're not reading it? Right? And listen, I've read a lot of stuff. So it ain't like there's some things that I didn't read completely through because it hit me in the beginning. The first couple chapters is like, oh yeah, he definitely ain't going the route that I thought he was going to go to. And then I'll skim through the rest, right? Just reading, checking some stuff out, going through. I'll go to the end, but I go from reading to just skimming now because it's almost like me reading about evolution. I don't believe in evolution at all. Like, nothing logically tells me this. Now, if you want to say evolution is more defined as adjustments to life, I can kind of go with that, right? We evolve, I guess. I think we de-evolve. All right. I think, like I say all the time, if you think we're the smartest people to hit the planet today in this era, in this time frame, you are absolutely lost your mind. If you think because you know what 1 + 1 is, and you can multiply 5-digit numbers and millions of numbers, you're tripping. All right. The Mayans knew everything about the stars and stuff that we still use on our calendars today with none of this information. So I don't think we're smarter. I think they were more connected. And it makes sense that way. Because the world still has to come to an end no matter what I believe or what anyone else believes. This world, and you see it. It ain't like you don't see it. You see it, right? From just in 100 years, you can see the deterioration of the world and our society and everything. Nothing is making sense. No system is working, right? I want to go where the Father is 100%. 100%. That's where I want to go with the Father, because the Father to me is 100%. So I'm saying it's 99.9%. It'll kill all the bacteria. That means there's a 0.01% chance that you can't sue them. That's what it really means. That's why in the medical field, they can never admit when they're wrong, because as soon as they do, it's over. And they'll never admit when they're wrong. And I worked in the medical field. I ain't snitching on nobody, but I worked in the medical field. I done seen things get operated on that wasn't supposed to be operated on, and you're supposed to tell somebody about it, and no one told anyone about anything. I'm just saying. They didn't even wake the guy up to tell him they did it wrong. They just fixed that one and worked on the right one. So I'm just listen. That's why people know the truth. It's either you're gonna hide the truth or you're gonna live with the truth, right? It's either gonna be caught with your hand in the cookie jar and admit, yeah, I was taking a cookie, or you're gonna get your hand caught in the cookie jar and then make a move that's gonna ruin the rest of your life. Seriously, right? You know, no matter what situation you're put in, if you act out with that emotional base of the world, so to speak, and I want respect, like stuff like that, just let that shit go. right? You get respect when you get respect, but that you get respect when you give respect. But that, like, it's almost like when I say, does it matter if Jesus died on the cross? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me personally. It don't matter to me. I believe in what he said. Okay, I'm not even on. I don't think I even have a perspective on. It don't matter if his name was Jesus or not to me. I care about what he said. And ironically, he never said to his disciples, "Hey, say in Jesus' name, and it's going to be done." He didn't say that. He said in my name, but it wasn't his literal name, right? Somebody gave him that name. Somebody gave him that name. I'm just saying. I think, and right, even in I gotta check this one thing before I get off. This one thing, even. Um, I don't even know how I found this, but that's crazy. I can't even look at that. That's insane. It totally like takes the story to a different level. But it's just like his name never showed up in the Old Testament. I forgot what I was even looking for. I was trying to find um either way, it wouldn't make a difference to me if his name was different. I believe in the person. I believe he was a son of God or a son of the Father, and his words echoed at least a minimum 1,000 years. So I don't know if you know about the 1,000-year conspiracy, but there is some conspiracy out there that they erased 1,000 years from our lives or jumped us up 1,000 years to try to like distance us from something. And you'll find evidence of that in the early 1900s. You'll see people in places that don't look like they should be in certain photos. Look at some photos from like San Francisco, 1900. You see people on beaches fully enclosed with suits on and shit. Like they don't know they're at a beach, like they've never been to a beach before. And they said it was just built at that time, and the buildings look run down. Just saying, just like older architecture used to have these lightning bolt rods on the top. They used to bring power to the house. Just saying, a lot of things people don't know. Yeah, so I'll end it with that parable. And soon I'll be back on again. I'm definitely gonna do the Devil's Bible. I'm gonna go deep into that. That's gonna take me like a week because I want to get all the information I possibly can about that. Because I did read, I was researching it a few years ago, and I found a lot of different craziness within it. So I'm gonna definitely do that, and I'm gonna find the story of the monk that did it too. Tomorrow I'll probably come on and do some more, read some more parables, just to break them down. Let's get a clear understanding of what Jesus was really saying. I want to show you that love he was talking about for everyone. And we'll seek some more truth together. All right. Thank you for watching. Peace be with you guys always. I love you guys. Email is onlybythefather@gmail.com. You want me to do a certain video or something? You want to research something? You want me to read a book? Hit me up. I'll read it. I'll get into it. And that's pretty much it. So be blessed. Be safe. And let's wake up together. All right. See you guys.